Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Simplified Computer Science Concepts by Professor Rutuja. Today we will be learning about checkpoints in DBMS, which is a very important topic in recovery of the transactions. So let us begin. So what are the checkpoints? Basically, this is nothing but a mark point where all the previous logs are removed from the system and stored permanently in a storage disk. Now there are very unknown maybe words in this particular sentence. So for this you have to go and watch the earlier videos. Logs. What are these logs? Logs are nothing but if you try to map this concept to a real-time example is that you are surfing internet and whatever you are searching, whatever you are browsing, all that is stored in our browsing history. What is that? That is nothing but maintaining log of whatever we are doing. Similarly, when the transactions are executing, they also maintain a log. What all tasks are performed, what is the updation, all that has been maintained in a file called as a log file. So, what is this checkpoint? So, let us see, just look at this diagram. This is a timeline, and at this particular time, a checkpoint has been taken, which means that wherever we have taken the checkpoint, the logs that were maintained before the checkpoint are permanently stored and will be stored on the storage disk. And after permanently storing, it will be removed from here. So that means even if the failure occurs at this particular point of time, it will not roll back to the initial part. It will roll back to the checkpoint part from where it will again re-execute the transaction. Right? So these log files before checkpoint will be removed, as I have told, and they will be stored to the storage disk permanently. So when a checkpoint is reached, updates are saved to the database and the log is clear. Now without the checkpoint, what is the problem? Let us understand. So let's say there are thousands of transactions which are executing, and started from executing transaction T1, and at let's say 7,777 transaction, the system got failure. Now what happens? The earlier transactions which were executed, that also got wasted. Why? Because we have not taken the checkpoint. At this point, what we have to do? We have to roll back to the transaction T1 and again perform all those 7,077 transactions. So it is very difficult and it becomes a burden for the CPU. So for this, the solution that was implemented was taking the checkpoint. So look at this particular diagram. Let us understand for 4 transactions, T1, T2, T3, T4. Now this is without checkpoint. At T4, in the middle of the task, it got failed. The transaction got failed. So here, what is the solution? From here, again we have to roll back to the initial state and again redo all the operations. So whatever tasks were done, all got wasted. And this was a demerit of without taking the checkpoint. So it was time consuming and again performing the same tasks which was already done is one of the demerits. So what happened after introducing the checkpoints? So here, as system periodically performed the checkpoints, so see here, we have taken the checkpoint after the transaction T1, then T2, T3 and T4, and middle of the transaction T4 failure occurred. So it will roll back, but where it will roll back? It will roll back to the checkpoint that is been taken. So at least we were successful in saving the logs of transaction T1. We have to only redo now T2, T3 and T4. So T1 we have saved. So if we take periodically rollbacks, then this also would have not been taken. So maybe if we have taken one more checkpoint over here, then again multiple redo operations would have been avoided. I hope you have understood this concept. Now just look at this log file which is maintained for this particular transaction, how checkpoint is maintained. So T1 started, T1 committed. Then we took a checkpoint. So checkpoint number 1, which is logged in such manner in a log file. Then T2 started, T2 committed. T3 started, T3 committed. T4 started but it did not got committed. So that is not maintained over here. Then how to recover using checkpoints. That means how to recover from the failure using checkpoints. So for this there are certain rules. Let us understand that. First of all, we have to read that log file from reverse order, that is from T4 to T1 for this particular example. Then we have to maintain two lists. One is redo list, then the other one is undo list. What will be the contents of this list? We will see now. So see, let's say if the any transaction which have start and commit, both things after the checkpoint, and or only commit after the checkpoint, then that will be stored into the redo list. And the transactions which are only start but which do not have commit will be kept in the undo list. Now let us understand this with this diagrammatic representation. So see here, as per the rules, which particular first we will start from reverse order, that is from T4 to T1. So let us now first check for T4. T4 start is after the checkpoint, but commit is after the failure. So if that is the case, it has to go to undo list, because start is before the failure and after the failure there is commit. So this will go to the undo list. Then we will go to the T3 transaction. T3 start and commit both have been completed before the failure. So again it has to go to redo operation. Then T2 both start and commit after the checkpoint before the failure. So again this will go to the redo list. And then comes T1. Here no start, but commit is again after the checkpoint and before the failure. So this will also go to the redo list. So what are the merits of this? So checkpoints accelerates the data recovery process. Obviously it will, because we do not have to roll back to the first transaction and again perform all those tasks. So recovery process is accelerated. Then comes checkpoint records in the log files avoid irrelevant redo operations, as we are maintaining two lists, redo and undo lists. So with the help of checkpoints we will not perform duplication of the task or irrelevant redo operations. Then the third one is checkpoints help in getting the transactions back in the case of accidental shutdown of the database. So let's say if we have taken regular checkpoints and there is immediate shutdown of the database, we can still go back to the latest checkpoint that we have taken, and from that we can recover the data. So I hope you have understood this concept. Thank you for watching this video. Please do like, share, subscribe to the channel. Thank you everyone. Bye bye.